You know what? At least for my my personal standpoint on this, I think it's safe to say that Kansas is now NASCAR's new favorite mile-and-a-half racetrack. What a race! Yo, what is up, everyone? My name is Jack Cross, and welcome back to the episode of Inside the Lines Victory Stop. Guys, the 2020 Superstar Batteries 400 from the Kansas Speedway just wrapped up. Like I said, it was an it wasn't an incredible race, but it was a really good race. I mean, every stage was something different. It looked like at first it was either going to be the Team Penske versus Joe Gibbs Racing show, and then all of a sudden later on you threw Hendrick Motorsports in the mix, and then later on you threw a Stewart-Haas driver and Kevin Harvick in the mix. I mean, every stage was something different, and it provided some really fun racing. It also provided some scary moments, so we're going to dive into that later on. And also, it shook up the chase for the playoffs tremendously, involving 3 drivers. Let's first start off, obviously, with stage 1 with Joe Logano, who took the race lead automatically from Kevin Harvick, who quickly fell back to around 3rd or 4th spot. Blaney, who was right behind Logano, moved towards the front of the pack with Logano to become a Penske 1 and 2. And like I said, at first, it was either going to be Joe Gibbs or Team Penske going to victory lane, because when the competition caution came out, Truex got out on pit road first, and then it became a Joe Gibbs 1-2-3 with Kyle Busch leading, Truex in 2nd, and Hamlin in 3rd. Now, as for the racing was meh. I mean, it was meh. As we know what the type of racing that Kansas produces with that progressive banking, we saw multiple grooves, saw a lot of drivers go to the bottom, but we saw most drivers run the top near the wall, specifically Tyler Reddick, who early on in stage 1 before the competition caution came out, he started 23rd and made his way all the way up to the top 12 in just 10 laps. So it shows that the outside line, at least, was the preferred line. Yeah, that was really all that happened in stage 1. Kyle Busch will go on to win the stage, and that will surprisingly be his first stage in 2020. It's very surprising to believe that it took till halfway in the season for Kyle Busch to get his first stage, but he did. Hamlin in 2nd, Truex Jr. in 3rd, Blaney in 4th, Keselowski in 5th, Reddick in 6th, and Jimmy Johnson in 11th. The reason why I point on Jimmy Johnson in 11th, Eric Jones, I believe, finished in 10th. The reason why I point that out is because of that bubble spot, Reddick, Johnson, and Jones. I talked about it in the pre-race show earlier today, that was going to be the fight for the next 7-8 races, was going to be those 3 drivers and those playoff or stage points that are going to be the way to help you make it into the playoffs. Stage 2 began with Denny Hamlin taking the race lead. Not long after, though, on lap 18, Mark Jr. would take the lead right back. And then on a restart, after Bubba Wallace spun to bring out the first real caution of the race, Brad Keselowski, who would have a really good car in this race, got a really good jump on the restart and was able to challenge hard with Mark Jr. for the race lead. They were able to go side by side for a couple laps, and Keselowski was able to then pass Truex for the race lead. He even had then Blaney lurking in the background. It looked like he was waiting to pounce. But he made it through that pass on a restart to move into 3rd, and that's why he was able to challenge for the race lead between Truex and Keselowski. However, later on lap 35, Truex will then take the lead right back from Keselowski, and then he also got immediately passed by Denny Hamlin for 2nd place. Then on lap 142, and this is talking about the entire race portion, not just, this happened in stage 2, but on lap 142, Chris Buescher would spin onto the back straight to bring out a caution, and then on pit road, drivers like Ryan Blaney, Jimmy Johnson, Tyler Reddick, and John Nemechek came out of pit road first because they only took 2 tires, while the rest took 4, and became sort of a test to see, okay, if you were to take 2 tires and get track position, are you able to hold off the drivers that took 4 tires? Well, yes and no. Blaney was able to for some amount of time, but Johnson, Reddick, and Nemechek, they were not able to. Johnson, who started 2nd, fell back to 8th, while Reddick and Nemechek fell out of the top 10. Blaney, in fact, not only took the race lead on the restart, he was able to hold on to the race lead up until 2 laps ago, when his teammate Brad Keselowski, who pitted for 4 fresh tires, was able to pass him, and Keselowski will go on to win stage 2. So just like last weekend at Texas, stage 3 at Kansas went off the rails. I mean, stage 1 and 2 was meh, but stage 3 is when really things heated up. So it began with Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott leading stage 3 on the restart due to them pitting for 2 tires on the last pit stop. And a little bit later on, the 6th caution will come out of the day when Ryan Preece, who looked like he might have gotten to the back of Matt Kenseth, but Kenseth spins and right in front of Bubba Wallace. Tough break for Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace would go straight into the garage while Kenseth would go make multiple pit stops to repair damage. And then our first caution will come out that would actually be important. And when I say that, I mean involve drivers that are either in the playoffs or trying to fight their way into the playoff grid. Joe Logano off to either cut a tire or something went wrong, but just went straight into the outside wall, collects Austin Dillon, Matt DiBenedetto, Kevin Harvick, and Jimmy Johnson to bring out the 7th caution of the day. And this is huge because Johnson came into this race with just a 2-point gap ahead of William Byron. And the worst part about that is that later on when Johnson was trying to make repairs, him and his team were trying to make repairs, he would actually fail to meet the minimum speed in order to stay in the race. So originally he was 25th, but when he failed to make minimum speed and NASCAR gave him the black flag, he would finish 31st. And also Matt DiBenedetto, who came into the race 14th in standings. I forgot exactly how much of a point gap that he had. He's still in the playoffs, but now it's a lot less air to breathe for DiBenedetto. And then we had a very scary crash on the next restart. Christopher Bell slides up right in front of Ryan Newman. Newman bumps him, and Ryan Preece hits the wall with such force that it almost flipped his car. It was an incredible impact and reminded me a lot of Eric McClure back in 2012 at Talladega in the Nationwide Series, or back then the Nationwide Series, now called the Xfinity Series. Yeah, it was a tremendous hit, and luckily Preece came out of the car right away. It was almost immediately, and in fact, moments after he wrecked his race car, nearly flipped, I think he came on the radio and said something along the lines of like every freaking week, or like frustration, because once again Ryan Preece has had an incident or something happen that caused him to not finish the race. The past 3 races, Preece has finished dead last, not including the fact that his teammate Ricky Stenhouse, who had an electrical fire issue early in the race in stage 1, he would finish dead last. So that makes 4 straight weeks JTG has had a car, or at least one car, finish dead last. So not a good past few weeks for that team in the Cup Series. And then not long after that, NBC played the interview with Matt DiBenedetto, and he said, which is something we've been preaching, we've been saying about this package, is that you're going to see accidents like this because cars are jumbled up and it takes, as his words, 45 minutes to get going. It doesn't, but you get his frustration. Preece was also frustrated because of how bad he's been running, but yeah, I mean, you're going to see more incidents like this because of this package. It encourages this sort of jumbled up beating and banging racing. You're going to see incidents like that. And I will say, Kansas, as of late, has been a track that's provided some massive accidents. I look at William Byron in 2018, where he, I think, was on top of Ryan Newman. Later on, the year before that, Eric Jones in 2017 in the fall. I mean, Eric Almirola in May of 2017. I mean, Kansas has produced some wild wrecks as of late. But then a caution would come out with around 72 laps to go. And on pit road, William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Ryan Blaney, and Matt Kenseth, those drivers would stay out on the restart with 69 laps to go. And Byron would actually clear Hamlin for the race lead. And Byron was surprisingly competitive. He was not only, like I said, able to keep up with Hamlin, he would clear Hamlin and was even starting to build a gap on Denny Hamlin. But then later on in the race, Keselowski, who pitted for 4 fresh tires, would pass William Byron not too long after. But Byron, on 18-lap older tires than Keselowski, was able to actually keep up with Keselowski, and then was able to then take the lead from Keselowski with 47 laps to go. Now, this is also due to the fact that Keselowski was reporting his car being very loose, but still, 18-lap older tires, and you're able to pass that driver for the lead. That is really impressive, because William Byron him and his team has just not been there. I think I'll even go far as to say the entire season, and they did not have a good car, at least I thought, early on in the race. So for them to take the lead from Keselowski, who had a really good car in this race, shocked me, to say the least. And then during commercial break, I think under 40 laps to go, both Kyle Busch and Ryan Blaney, who were both running the top 10, I believe, they both smacked the wall. Blaney smacked the wall entering 1. Kyle Busch smacked the wall off of 4. They both had severe enough damage to bring the cars onto pit road, both to get back out in time, but it was very odd to see, specifically with Kyle Busch. I mean, he's running top 2 lap times. He had a really good car. I thought maybe had a shot at winning the race. Very, very odd mistake for him. I think he said, quote, his car was in a 4-wheel slide, just could not do anything to keep it off the wall. But while those 2 incidents didn't cause a caution, this one did. With 33 laps to go, the caution would fly when Corey LaJoie cut a right rear tire, which at least thankful for William Byron. It played right into his hands because, like I said, Byron had 18 lap older tires than Keselowski, meaning Byron was out on track 18 laps longer than Keselowski had on fuel. So Byron and his team needed a caution in order to stay in the mix, and they got just that. But for some reason, I don't know why this was a caution. If you watch the incident, I don't have it on me, I believe, but if you saw the incident involving Corey LaJoie, there's no reason that should have been a caution. I mean, Blaney and Bush, those happened on the same lap times, and or same lap. That should have been a caution, but not LaJoie. But whatever, we're not going to dive into that. So then on pit road on that caution, Byron and Alex Bowman, teammates on Hendrick Motorsports, they came out 1 and 2 as those were the only 2 drivers that took 2 tires. And why wouldn't they? I mean, Byron was able to hold off and pass Keselowski on 18 lap older tires. Why wouldn't you go for 2 tires? It started to feel like this was going to be exactly what we saw at Texas last weekend with the move that RCR made with Tyler Reddick and Austin Dillon. Well, when the restart came out, it would not last that long. Bowman, while he did take the lead, out of nowhere, Kevin Harvick, who had a top 5 to top 10 car, made a 3-wide pass on Truex and Keselowski off of 4, I believe, to then take 2nd place away, and was then later going to go on to challenge William Byron for 2nd place. But 26 laps ago, a caution will come out with John Nemechek, who gets loose and spins on the back straightaway. Then on the restart with 23 laps ago, Kevin Harvick, textbook move, pushes Alex Bowman. He started 3rd, pushed Alex Bowman entering turn 1, and then slid up just to the outside of him and would pass Bowman to secure the 1st place off of turn 2. It was, like I said, a textbook move from Kevin Harvick. Starting 3rd on the inside, pushed Bowman, jumped to the outside in turns 1 and 2 to then take the lead on the back straightaway. But his time out in front would not last that long. 13 laps to go, Denny Hamlin would chase down and pass Kevin Harvick for the race lead. So now it becomes, all right, Hamlin's got this in the bag. No, Keselowski then started to chase down Hamlin. It got within 3 to 2/10 of Hamlin for the race lead. But unfortunately, Hamlin was able to close off the deal and would go on to score his 2nd consecutive win at Kansas. Remember, he won back in the fall of 2019. So 2nd straight Kansas victory. I think his 3rd victory overall at the Mile and a Half racetrack. And I believe he'll go on to victory lane for the 5th time this season. Now, as for what's happening with the playoffs, we have 7 races to go after Kansas. And just to give you an idea, Jimmy Johnson is put up on screen and took a picture of this. Jimmy Johnson came into Kansas with a 2-point buffer. He leaves 18 points behind. William Byron now holds the final spot with a 10-point gap ahead of Tyler Reddick. And now Eric Jones, who was originally 24 points behind, is now just 12 points behind. This is going to be a very, very interesting 7 weeks. And as a Jimmy fan, when I saw him get involved in another accident, I was like, oh, every week something happens with him. Like, See, now I understand how you Junior fans feel. Was it from 2009 to 2010, where Junior had the streak of just horrible seasons, while me, a Jimmy Johnson fan, was gloating Johnson's success from 2009 or 2008 to 2010. So I now feel your pain, Junior Nation fans, or at least I get it. I get your pain. But let's take a look at the unofficial results. To my right, Denny Hamlin wins at Kansas. 2nd place is Brad Keselowski. 3rd, Martin Truex Jr. 4th, Kevin Harvick. 5th, Eric Jones. A solid top 5 finish from him. I said in the pre-race show, he needs to score top 5 finishes if he wants to have a shot at making the playoffs. He did just that. 6th place is Eric Almirola. Quiet day from him. I thought I expected more noise out of the 10 camp, but still solid top 10 from him. He still holds the spot as the highest driver in the point standings without a victory. 7th, Cole Custer. Was not expecting that. Good run for the 41 team. 8th is Alex Bowman. 9th is Kurt Busch. And William Byron rounds out the top 10. Kyle Busch was able to rebound nicely from suffering from that incident where he smacked the outside wall. Would finish 11th. Chase Elliott in 12th. Tyler Reddick in 13th. Clinton Boyer in 14th. Ty Dillon in 15th. 16th is Michael McDowell. 17th is Matt Kenseth. 18th is Daniel Suarez. 19th is John Nemechek. And round of the top 20 is Ryan Blaney. Actually, good run for Daniel Suarez. I think that's their first top 20 finish this season. I could be wrong, but I think that's their first top 20 finish this season. So good run for the 96 car. And then some notables. 23rd is a 95 car, Christopher Bell, who's involved in an accident with Ryan Newman and Ryan Preece. 27th, Austin Dillon. 28th is Ryan Newman. 32nd is Jimmy Johnson. 33rd is Chris Buescher. 35th is Joe Logano. 36th is Matt DiBenedetto. 37th is Bubba Wallace. And 40th and dead last is Ricky Stenhouse Jr. So my overall thoughts on this race. This package still sucks. I mean, you saw Keselowski. I felt like Keselowski had a faster car than Hamlin in those last 3 or 4 laps, but unfortunately with this package and that dirty air, I don't think Keselowski was ever going to have a chance to pass Hamlin. We saw Keselowski had a better car because we saw him just eat away Hamlin's lead. As soon as he got by for second place, he just ate away Hamlin's lead in 1 or 2 laps. So we knew Keselowski had a better car than Hamlin, but unfortunately with this package, he just wasn't able to get the job done. The race itself, it was meh. Like I said, stage 1 and stage 2. Stage 3 was a bit more hectic. I don't know if I want to say good. Actually, nah, I would say it was good. Stage 3 was good. I mean, it was a bit hectic, specifically with those restarts. Those restarts were just unbelievable. God, they raised my stress levels up to like here. I have high blood pressure in my family, and those restarts are not helping. But overall, I had a good time. It was a fun Kansas race, and as of late, I will say, Kansas is starting to become, I think, my favorite mile and a half racetrack. Before it was Chicagoland, and before that it was Atlanta, then it was Chicagoland. I think now Kansas takes that spot. They have been putting on some bangers as of late. And yeah, something about this package in Kansas under the lights, it just works. Again, this package still sucks. It somehow still manages to sort of work at a track like Kansas. But yeah, congratulations to Denny Hamlin, who goes to victory lane here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. Next week, we'll be going to New Hampshire. I believe they're going to be running the 550 horsepower package. If that's the case, it's not going to be a fun race, but yeah, that's enough for me. Tell me what are you guys' thoughts in the comment section down below. Did you enjoy the race? Did you not? Tell me anything of your thoughts regarding the race. What are your thoughts on the playoff bubble between Johnson, Jones, Reddick, and Boyer and Byron? All that stuff, tell me in the comment section down below. But until next time, my name is Jeff from MDK. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content, and I'll see you guys next time.